Good evening and welcome to the Arundel Camera Club live stream for Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. My name is John Milliker and I'm the club president for the 2020-2021 season. The Arundel Camera Club was founded in 1957 and exists to promote the arts, science, and education in all aspects and fields of photography. Normally we meet at 7 p.m. every Wednesday evening during the school year in Severna Park, Maryland. However, with the current disruptions, we've decided to continue business as normal in a virtual space, which allows us to protect our members and guests from the current COVID-19 situation. For more information about us, please visit www.arundelcameraclub.org. And I'm going to turn it over to Christine with the upcoming schedule.
Good evening. Coming up on Wednesday, March 10th at 7 p.m., be sure to join us for our program with Connie Imboden and her talk on 34 years of nudes, water, and mirrors. Then on Thursday, March 11th, we have another great opportunity to fundraise for the club with the great people at Brian Buru Restaurant in Severna Park, Maryland. They're hosting another fundraiser for our club on Thursday, March 11th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. And their menu, which is on our Facebook page, includes 3-course dinners for $25, and a generous portion of that will be donated back to our club. During COVID, tables are first come, first serve only, but they do offer curbside delivery. We hope you take advantage of this, and we also invite family and friends to join us too. Next on our digital photography contest with the theme of open happens on Wednesday, March 17th. Keep an eye out on your emails for information on sending in your photos. And if you'd like to join us and send in your own photos for critique, there's time to get your membership payments in. And because we're in the second half of the season, dues are only half price. Reach out to any of our admins on the Facebook page if you have any questions. On March 24th, we are back with another great program with Lynn Garwood on composition beyond the rule of thirds. And our March photo assignment is due that night by 6 p.m. Now let's tell you what our photo assignment for the month of March is. This month we're going to do the theme of daily tasks. We want you to submit up to 3 photos in the month that you took in the month of March on your daily routines. Try to tell us a story with your photographs. And let's get started with this week's program, which is going over our photo assignment for the month of February, which was the theme of translucent and transparent. Okay, our first image is from Elaine Hamley and is Cut Glass Shadow. Anyone want to give any feedback on this?
Yeah, I think it's real nice. I like the way, that's a good idea. I never thought anything like that. I like the shadow. I like the sparkle on there because, in a 3-dimensional or in a 2-dimensional object, you need highlights and shadows to give it 3D. And I believe she did that with the shadows and stuff. It really made it a 3D.
Elaine's been doing really great with these tabletops. I mean, only someone like her would see that, all those great refractions of light.
Yeah, I think that was well done. I like the color, the orange reflected onto the table, and I mean, just all the different colors.
The nice depth of field too.
Yeah. It's very creative. Any other comments? We have a few more people who've joined us. JC, Fred, Fred already said. Anyone else want to give us some feedback on this photo from Elaine? Okay, let's move on to our next photo, which is from Susan Weber, which is Reagan Airport. This is out the windows, which I think is very creative. I like the squares and the rectangles, and there's even some triangles and stuff in here.
Can you put that on full screen, Christine? Can you do that?
Sorry. There you go.
There you go. Very nice. I like the 3. I like the 3 dots of sunlight. That makes it for me.
Yeah, that diagonal, I missed that. It is kind of creative.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too. I was going to say I like the 3 lights, 1, 2, 3, and it seems like it's going across it in a diagonal type way, that it's not in the center of the picture or anything like that. And I like it. I just wonder, one of the other things, but it doesn't mean it's right, is that if she would have used a lower f-stop, maybe she could have blurred that out in the background and really brought that light out. That's just a thought. I don't know if it could be done what she was doing, but it was just a thought.
Yeah, that is a thought. A little less of the noise, the buildings in the background that kind of distract from the images in the front. And
I have a comment in Facebook chat. I'm not sure if she meant this one, the one earlier, or this one here. But Leslie says wonderfully composed.
yeah. Any other comments on this?
You have a comment from Susan coming in too. She says she was happy to see similar Reagan Airport images from David Luria last week.
Oh, yeah. She said that helped her want to turn these in. Oh, Leslie says that the comment about the great composition was for the last one.
Gotcha.
Okay. Let's move on. This is another one from Susan, also from the airport. I like the other one better, but this one is kind of nice. I like the color down the middle, kind of the stripe.
Mm-hmm.
Those catch my eye. And then you have the 3 lights in repetition, which is kind of nice.
Anybody
Not
else want to
fair.
weigh
They
in?
got to go to an airport.
Yeah, it looked like the same shot from a different angle to me. You know, I could see the 3 lights that the bright looked like. Okay, I see what it is now. It's like it's the same same place, but just a different angle of it, I think.
Yeah.
I actually like this one better, and I would have liked to see a little further down the aisle, because for me, this is echoes of the side aisle of a Gothic cathedral, which probably was what the architecture intended on it. But you're picking that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like the arches at the top. The brightness outside and the darkness inside, kind of a contrasty. Any other
I
comment?
think that if it was crossed in to where that next pillar is, and maybe up a little bit from the bottom, would have been more appealing to me.
Susan says over on Facebook, this was their first ever trip to the Reagan Airport. There is enough interest there to warrant a trip back just to do photography without dropping off. Maybe a field trip.
Is this one of the areas you can get to outside of TSA?
Yeah, that would be the question. If it was inside TSA, it would be more difficult.
They can't stop us all. Maybe they could.
Okay. This is from Doug Wood. I like the kitty looking out the window. The curve at the bottom is what gives that away. I don't think I caught that the very first time I saw this image, and then I realized, oh, he's behind a window. So that's really cool.
He's begging to come in.
This is well done. You're on his eye level. The curve at the bottom just does it. You know, cat photos are cat photos, but that curve really anchors it in for me. And I mean, beautifully lit, nice backlighting, nice front lighting. This is one of the ones. This is one of the ones I kept when I voted. I realized I was liking every single photo, and I'm like, okay, I got to be a little bit worse off because every image in this is amazing.
Yeah, people did very well with this assignment.
I think because of the airport photos, that curvature at the bottom made you think he was looking in a plane window or out a plane window, one or the other.
Yeah. It is reminiscent of an airplane. Any other comments? This one's mine. This was some icicles we saw whenever we were up in Western Maryland. And I just like the symmetry of all the icicles hanging down.
If you go back to that one photo real quick, Leslie says very nice blur in the background.
Oh, yeah.
That's very nice.
The symmetry was striking to me as well. That's what caught my eye right off the bat.
Yeah, that's the first thing that you see when you look at this is the symmetry of the roof line, and then the just slightly off symmetry of the icicles.
Mhm.
I
I
thought it
like
was
the way you caught that one long icicle right in the middle of it, and especially the way you kept your snow really white.
it was fairly fresh snow, I think. I think it had snowed all night. And yeah, the icicles just were so pretty that day.
I really like the icicles too. I like you have an odd number of icicles, so it looks
Yeah.
pretty neat. You know, and the way they're coming down, it's a good deal. Nice shot.
Mhm.
Any other comments?
Great picture.
This one's also mine. The fog when we were up there was just amazing.
Where is
And
this?
this is at one of the parks. Which park was it?
Dan's Rock Overlook.
That's right. Dan's Rock Overlook. And you're supposed to be able to go up there and see Cumberland beneath you. But you couldn't see 2 feet in front of the ledge. But I love the way this tower was, and I was like, hey, this is perfect for our photo assignment this month. So
That's a creative interpretation. I wouldn't have thought of that.
That was what I was thinking. That fog for translucent is a very creative interpretation of the requirement.
Leslie says of the previous image, the icicles, she likes how they were different lengths.
do we have any other comments? And then this was my last image, which was at the train yard in Cumberland. And it was on the side of the train. And I just liked the hook and then the icicles coming off of it.
Now, Christine went here looking for these images, but she forgot her macro lens
Yeah.
because that image right there is just screaming to be cropped in for me.
Yeah, it should be cropped in a little bit. I agree.
I don't think this one's quite as successful as the other icicle one.
No,
I think it's the busy background in some places.
It's also depth of field.
I think the previous one might be interesting in black and white.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like the icicle coming off the loop is tied into a background icicle.
Yeah, the one that's coming off the hook, I'd like to see in focus all the way.
Yeah, if I'd had my macro lens, it would have been better.
It's still a good image though.
Yeah. And this one is by Mike.
Yeah, so this is the ice that formed on a magnolia tree leaf. And I peeled the leaf off and I took the ice. That's actually the back of my truck. And then my back of my truck was covered in ice. And so I just warmed the end of the leaf a little bit so it would stick on the back of my truck. It stayed up for 3 days.
Wow.
Because my truck didn't go anywhere. And then the black behind it's actually the cab of my truck. I had like 4 or 5 different leaves mounted back there I was taking pictures of.
Looks good.
Yeah, this is creative. I really liked the leaf. I figured it was off something, or you just found a leaf-shaped leaf. I mean, piece of ice. But yeah, I loved this. This was well done.
Yeah, that is amazing.
So did you light it at all, Mike? Because the edges are so vivid.
So because of the trucks in front of me, which gives that black background, all the light is actually coming from around the truck, around the bed of the truck and stuff. That's what did that.
Hmm.
Terry over on Facebook says, nice, Mike.
Thanks, Terry.
The lighting through that, it's mesmerizing.
I kind of liked, it looks like there's like little bubbles, and the irregularities of the ice just really help make that photo. And you can kind of see where the stem was on the leaf down the center.
Yeah, Mike, I knew it was a shape of a leaf, but I had no idea how did you, I thought maybe you got some ice and scraped it down to look like a leaf. So I had no
Well,
idea how you got that look to look like that, but
We
that was
don't know
great.
well, I
Mike.
That was a
just
great
walked
idea.
around the yard.
We don't know Mike is secretly a ice chainsaw sculpture carver.
That's what I was talking about, right?
Miniature ice chainsaw.
Tiny chainsaw.
So is the photo black and white, or is it actually color, but because everything's black and white, it looks like black and white?
It's actually color. I didn't convert it to black and white.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that one.
You could
That's
have
also
tried
Mike.
that as a monochrome blue scale.
Yeah.
I may still do that. That's a good idea. All right, this is another one of mine. I bought this hourglass a couple years ago with the intent of photographing it. It turns out it's really hard to photograph those shaped glass because it reflects everything.
Yep.
So I finally tried the cross polarization technique on it, which really helped minimize most of the reflections. And I wanted to get the sand so you can see it coming down.
So how many times did you have to turn it over to get the shot you wanted?
That's one time turned over, but a whole lot of shots because
Yeah.
all that sand at the bottom was up top.
Yep, right.
So how is it a real hour?
I don't actually know.
Oh,
It's about 6 inches tall. So it's
yeah.
bigger. It's not like a minute timer.
Mhm.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I like the contrast of the darkness around it with the white sand.
Very nice, Mike.
Yep.
Very nice.
The grain of the wood also in the background, there looks like different graininesses, like the wood of the hourglass, the wood of the base that you have it on, and then the background also looks kind of like it has a grain. So that's kind of nice contrast lines.
Yeah, so that's a bamboo chair mat it's setting on
Mhm.
that I put on a table, and then that is like a painterly backdrop, but you're only seeing a very small part of it.
Did you tone down the other area besides the hourglass? Because the white is very white, but the rest of it is seems to be toned down. Where did you use a lower temperature in the light?
So I actually had to lighten up the wood here a little bit on these two columns that are closest to us. So
Yeah.
you see some detail in it. The rest of it's,
Okay.
just kind of the way it came.
Very nice. And this
You
was
got
also
all-
Mike.
You've got all of mine together.
And that's
Sorry.
another one of Mike's. I know that one. I've seen that one before, Mike. Nice.
Yeah, I love the filaments.
Yes, indeedy.
Yeah, so this is that light that we got at the Museum of Industry
Right.
that I now have no idea what I'm going to do with.
Is that a reflection in the bottom of the bulb of the filament?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, because the only light in this picture is from the actual bulb. So all that strange shapes and reflections in the bottom are from the filament.
Did you slow the shutter down or bring it up real quick? How did you get so
Oh,
sharp on it, without causing it to go all over the place?
so I can't remember.
I mean,
Don't know.
obviously,
I don't know
if
if Chris can see my my EXIF information.
because I would think that you had a high f-stop and a very good shutter on it.
It's an
You know.
f8, 1/100th of a second, 32 millimeter, and ISO 200.
Oh, I would think it was a lot higher than that, but that's good.
Mike, this goes back to the last image. Scott over on Facebook is asking how you achieved the beautiful lighting on the hourglass.
So I used a technique called cross polarization, and so I have a strobe in my basement, and I put in front of it a thin sheet of polarizing plastic, and then I put a polarizing filter on my lens, and then looking through the back of my camera with the modeling light on the strobe, I turned the polarizer around until the reflections mostly disappeared on the glass.
Very nice.
Great.
Okay, sorry. Any other comments on our light filaments?
That's mesmerizing. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the goldenness of it
Thanks.
and the browns. Then the next one is from David Joyner. What's the name of this one? This was just Isinglass.
What is it again?
It says Isinglass. So I don't know if that ball is glass or ice.
It is. He's got a set of those he's brought to tabletop nights. That's probably one of them set on the ice.
Great,
Looks like it was frozen there.
great crispness on those front bubbles, and I love how it just goes out of focus, and you can kind of just walk back to that. I guess that's creek back there.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'd probably crop in a bit to get rid of the red thing on the right.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it's lovely.
I think the background could have been burned in a little bit and maybe blurred a little more.
Or maybe a shallower depth of field.
Or shallower depth of field, yeah.
Yeah, if it was more blurred, I think it would be a stronger image. But it's a really nice image, and the bubbles in the glass are just wonderful.
Yeah, I'm liking the bubbles the best. And right at the top of it, me personally, I probably would have tried to take that blue and white on top of the bubble, so I would have had the bubble there just the bubble, then looking into the trees if I could have.
Yeah, that's just,
Yeah, that's having it silhouetted against the natural background would have been stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chairs over here are also slightly distracting because you have that bright color right behind it.
Now, something I would have liked. Go ahead, JC.
Yeah, but the ball and the bubbles and that whatever's sitting on it look like a half moon. That is great right there.
yeah, the ball is really great. It really is.
Yeah.
I
It
like
is.
that this looks like one of those lens balls because between the bubbles you can see the refraction of the background.
I think it's a lens ball, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Not
I
with
have
those
a- I
bubbles,
have a
right?
lens- I have lens balls also, but the only thing about lens balls, you got to always flip the doggone picture to get it to be straight. So I don't know whether you could have flipped this one or not.
I think this has bubbles in it.
That's what it looks like.
So it's
Yeah.
not, I'm not sure it's a lens bulb.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lens ball, you got to flip it. You know, when you look through it, you got to, everything is upside down, right?
Well, not the bubbles inside the bubble.
Yeah, but I'm talking about if you look at the bottom down there.
I agree.
Look like one of the bubbles look like a man down there or something on the left side, way down there or something. That's what I was looking at, way down at the bottom. You look like a.
Yeah, the reflection on the bottom is the building in the back, but might be right. The bubbles might be in the glass.
Yep.
And he should also be able to focus on the focal point of the stuff in the background. The bubbles will be out of focus, but you'll still be able to see the image through it, kind of like a lens ball.
Yeah, it's still a really cool image, though.
That is.
It's a nice image, though.
That's cute.
This is from Fred.
Well, that's my pet squirrel. Okay, and this squirrel doesn't have a tail. The squirrel doesn't have a tail, and he's got a bad left foot, rear foot, and he drags it, but he's getting better and better. And whenever I see him, I throw some food out there. And the other day, the food was out there, and two other squirrels took over, and I chase the other two squirrels away. And he just sits and looks at me. When they leave, he jumps down and gets it. So he comes in the morning. I'm at the point now that all I have to do is open up the door and put out.
He must love you.
He's over. If you've seen some other pictures of him, he looks overweight. My wife's saying he's overweight, and a lot of people see it on my Facebook.
We gotta stop feeding them bread. I have to say, I like this picture here a lot. I mean, when I first saw it, I just laughed. I mean, I can tell it's a window, and it looks like he's just begging to get inside or something. It's cold out there. Let me in. Give me some more food. I think this is very cute.
I love the expression, but I think this could be cropped way down.
Yeah, I did crop it in a whole bunch before, and I didn't like it because you couldn't tell if it was a window or not. And I wanted to make sure you could tell it was a window, and I wanted to make sure that it was snow behind there in the deck. But I did crop it down. I cropped it down real low, and you could see stuff in his mouth. But
No, I'd leave the bottom of the window frame and bring it up just to the crease at the bottom of the molding, and bring the right side in.
Yeah, he's so cute though, Fred. Don't stop. You better stop feeding him, Fred. She's gonna get too fat.
I'm mad at that squirrel. That squirrel beat me in the macro contest.
no, that's a different. That's a different squirrel. The squirrel that was on the other one. I mean, I got like 5 or 6 of them, but this squirrel right here is a special one. He won't go up in the tree because he goes up there, but he's real slow. He's not as fast as the others because of his leg. He drags it.
That background is so clean. It almost looked like a panning shot.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I thought, wait a minute, those Venetian blinds back there or something. I didn't know what it was.
It's a deck of the snow. It's a deck. It's the wood on the deck, and there's snow on it. And I didn't shovel it off. That's what it boils down to.
Okay.
Very nice.
Nice reflection in the eye.
Yeah.
I like the way you can see his whiskers.
I like his little nose, his pink little nose.
I wanted him to put it up on the glass, but he's not came that good. I wanted him to get all the way up there and put his nose straight up against it, but he doesn't listen too well.
Throw some food up there. You come get it.
What was that, Lewis?
Caption for this image.
Cool outside or something like that.
Okay.
It's cool out here. Okay. Anyone have anything else?
Yeah, I would caption and hurry up and feed me.
Food?
That's what my wife said. My wife said I should have named it, "Where's my food?"
Yeah, that's a good one too.
No, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Dinner time.
Yeah, that'd work too.
This is very nice. I like this one.
Very, very nice.
This is Freezing Bubble from Leslie.
That's a winner.
Yeah,
That's definitely a winner. That's very nice. There's nothing.
I tried this. I couldn't get my bubbles to freeze.
it wasn't cold enough. I don't know. When she first posted that, I asked her, did she do it here in Maryland? And she said, yes. And I'm saying, how did you get it cold enough? Because I've tried it too, Mike, and it just wasn't cold enough. So I started to open up the freezer, but I couldn't leave the freezer door open that long. So I didn't do it. But yeah, I've seen these did, and this is a beautiful one here. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous.
It's spectacular.
Yeah, the red at the bottom with the blue sky and the colors of the ice. She just caught it all.
How much do we need to pay her to not enter this into the contest?
We don't have to worry yet, John. She'd be novice.
Well, I'm thinking about the other novices.
That's definitely a winner.
It is.
Yeah, this is absolutely gorgeous here.
And that is something that Leslie, you should think about submitting somewhere, either as wall art or a postcard, or maybe even JC's had luck with the Maryland Natural Resources. Yeah. Or is that all animals for the natural resources, JC?
No, it was the Chesapeake Bay. It was the Chesapeake Bay thing. No, it's not. Chesapeake Bay is not all animals. It's anything that's taken, at any of their Chesapeake Bay waterways. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Anything. It could be a landscape. It could be people in the water plant. It could be anything really.
Going back to Fred's image over on Facebook, Scott says, Fred, wonder if you could make a project out of the crippled squirrel. Keep your eye on him for a month or so. Try different times of day. Watch as he walks. Keep on the lookout for any moves that might be distinctive to him.
Well, I already did. He's been around for 6 months, okay? And I've been watching him, because his leg was really bad, but now it's a lot better. I mean, it's not as good as the other squirrels, and he's just a good pet. I mean, I'm at the point now that I can open up the door and he won't even jump. He'll just look at me.
And that's because he knows you're going to feed him.
Yeah.
Fred,
I don't want to open the door up too much because he'll probably come in and I have to chase him out.
Fred, have you ever seen this series? Somebody feeds chipmunks, and they put them in all kinds of weird situations. Like they had one where it was a little tiny scooter, and there was they had something propped up like a map. And I guess they put peanut butter or they put food back there, and the chipmunk puts his feet up on it, and it looks like he's sitting there reading the map. You could probably do something with this squirrel.
Yeah, I think you're right. Or if nothing else, I got like 6 of them that come around all the time because they're in my feeder all the time.
Over on Facebook, Susan says about this image is, what is Leslie's bubble? Is it all just a water bubble? What was it framed from, or one of those glass orbs?
No, no, that's what happens. Oh, go ahead, Leslie.
There is a formula for making these
Yeah.
bubbles, and you add corn syrup so that it doesn't break right away.
Right.
I mean, when I was in Maryland, I did this, but it was years ago. And it was just for the fun of it. I wasn't trying to photograph them. But when you touch the bubbles, they just break. They don't pop, they just break.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. But
Yeah.
there is a formula to use besides just soap and water.
Leslie says that the bubble solution is dish soap, sugar, water, and corn syrup.
Right.
Yeah.
And they recommend it to be like down in the teens. The colder the better.
Yeah.
Susan asked if it was blown through a kid's bubble wand.
No.
But okay, any other comments on this before we move on?
That's gorgeous.
It is very well done.
Leslie says through a straw. Interesting.
This is from Fred.
I took this picture when I was going for my walk, and the reason I took it is because this guy around the corner is he's into cars, and he's got a whole bunch of them. He never fixes them. But anyway, it brought me back to my younger days when I used to fix up cars, and those headers were like, if you owned those headers, you were great. And I love my hooker headers. That's what it was. And I seen the icicles down there, and it got kind of red on it, so I took it.
What does it say in the back?
I love my hooker headers. Okay, that's the emblem for the headers that go on a car exhaust system.
Oh, all right. Okay.
The middle ice cube captures the whole image, but in a long, drawn out form, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I cropped it in a whole bunch. I just took it, and when I looked at it, I said, wow, I like that.
At first,
what were the icicles on?
It was on the bumper of the car, okay? And the license didn't have a license plate, and the license plate would go over that I love my hooker headers. And so it was a whole car, and I just cut it in.
That's like a header on the engine, right?
Right.
Right.
Back in the 70s, that was like the number one headers to have.
At first, I thought about cropping it down, but I love that the center icicle's got the entire sticker, and the left one's got it on the left-hand side, and the right one's got it on the right-hand side. So it works great.
Yeah, I was real lucky on that one because I took like 3 shots of it and walked on and didn't notice that until I got it back, and I said, oh, this is it right here.
Very nice. Any other comments? This is from Ed Nahinky. Looks like the top of a bottle or a stopper maybe to like a wine jug or something.
I don't know. Whatever it is.
I think it's got a lot of potential.
Whatever it is, it's crystal look like.
Yeah, and he did well blurring out the background, which is really nice.
It might be Superman's home in the Arctic.
Looks like it could be ice, but of course it's crystals.
Wonder how big that is.
I think he could have darkened down the background a little to make it pop up and bring up the whites a little bit.
Yeah.
That sparkle on the left side, kind of the flare there, kind of really helps pop the image a little bit too.
There's one on the right too, which is nice.
Oh, I see that now. Very nice.
Nice image. I like it.
Very nice image.
Susan says that might be a stopper on a perfume bottle, excuse me.
Yeah, good idea.
Elaine says bottle stopper.
It's funny how we all approach this with totally different visions.
That's the reason we always say photography is very subjective, right?
It Helps
And that's
keep
why that's why we get mad at judges, because they don't see what we see.
That's right.
Okay. Next image. This is from Doug Wood.
I guess
Nice
it would
abstract.
be ice, but it's hard to figure out what it really is.
So this was a decorative glass ball that I bought from an artist. Actually, it was a gift. Came from a local glass blower. So it's a blown glass ball with various pieces of semi-opaque and opaque glass around the sides of it. And I was trying to get a depth of field, so I have both the far inside and the near side.
Very
Wow.
nice.
I just love looking at this.
That's interesting abstract, actually.
Very nice abstract.
Great abstract.
And it's actually monochrome.
Oh,
Yeah,
Nice.
very nice.
Someone that actually understands the definition of monochrome.
Very nice. Anything else?
great shot.
This is from Lewis, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. I was pretty hard up to figure out what to do for this. So we have a cabinet full of crystals. So that's just one of the cups, and that's a flower in there, and I put it upside down. And but I thought maybe the image of the flower would get changed around. I accomplished what I wanted to get on it. I don't think it's that great of a shot, but I think for me anyway, it's a nice, interesting shot.
I like it. And you could turn it into an abstract if you zoomed in on just the flower through the glass.
And actually, that's lit with one light on the side. It's a Lumen Cube panel is what I was using. I was just trying to figure out what to do, and something different. So that's definitely different anyway.
I like it. I think it's very pretty. I think you could keep it like this, or you could zoom in and get so that you can't tell that it's a glass and just have the flower behind it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of different possibilities. Yeah.
That was my thought, because that's got a lot of potential. That's amazing glass
Good
there.
idea.
Anyone else have comments?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I put it off center on purpose, but I don't know. I think maybe just centered might have been better. I just wanted maybe a little bit of an angle to it, but either way, whatever.
Lewis, I agree with you.
Did you try?
I think you ought to center it.
What? I originally had it upside down, to be honest with you, but then I changed it because my wife looked at it and she couldn't figure out what the heck it was. So I turned it upside. Go ahead.
Did you consider zooming in, cropping much tighter, so that you don't know it's a glass?
No, it actually did not occur to me. It didn't occur to me, but I think that's a good idea. Actually, that's got possibilities. I might shoot it again. Well, I might play around with it on the computer, maybe change it a little bit. But I like the color, to be honest with you. And if you look at it really close, it's very, very sharp. Also, so I think it's interesting. I was satisfied with it. I was happy with it.
Lewis, I think your original vision of keeping it on the left would have worked more if I could have seen the entire shadow on the right, because I love that shadow there to balance it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, because actually behind it was a black board, and I was getting reflection from someplace, and it could be a reflection off the actual glass, but I decided just to leave it in because it gave it a little more perspective and a little more shape.
Nice.
Over on Facebook, Susan says, Lewis cropped the glass but left a small bit of the stem. How would it be if all of the stem or none of the stem was present?
Actually, the stem at the top is actually cloned, because that was a dead part of the stem. So I cloned that in, and I was thinking about maybe it should come out of the glass also, but I had cut it, and there was no way to do that. I mean, I could have cloned it, but there's things that could be improved on it. But overall, I was happy with it. It came out nice. I might play with it and maybe do some variations and may throw it into a contest down the road.
I hope you do.
Susan says the stem of the wine glass might have.
Oh, the stem of the wine glass. That's a good comment. That's a good way to look at it too. It's just got a lot of different possibilities. I was just trying to get it to work. So
I see lots of potential with that one.
say that again.
I see a lot of potential with that one.
No, it's got a lot of potential. The thing was that I was working in the dark, and between my vision close to everything, I was just fighting just to get everything right in my camera and all that kind of stuff. So my mind was kind of distracted from being more creative. So, but I like it. It's nice. It worked out.
Yeah. Anything else for Lewis before we move on? This is from Elaine, Lady in the Garden. I really like this. I like the way you can see the lady through the glass. I thought
When
it was
I
well
viewed it
done.
on the Facebook, I didn't realize that was a lady in the garden. Actually, I couldn't, but now I see it.
I like how it's blurred and kind of goes into focus as you go down too.
Yes. Yeah, I like this one too a lot. When I first looked at that, I saw that lady I didn't know we called it the lady in the garden, but I thought it was a glass that she put up and had some kind of statue, little, toward behind it or something like that. But I like it. I like that it blurs from the beginning and goes back, and you can see the lady and focus on her. The only thing I would have those two highlights at the top, left and right, I probably would have taken those out right there a little bit. But it is what it is, and I probably would have taken some of the specular highlights out right there. But otherwise, I think it's good. You know what I mean? A little bit more. She has a little bit more blurring on the right than she does on the left. I might would have tried to eagle that out a little bit also. But otherwise, I like this one also.
Yeah, I
Would this
really
work?
like this one too, because it gave you something that you could see through
Yeah.
the translucent.
Right. Yeah.
Did
I
she
like
enter this as a monochrome?
I don't remember.
No,
No,
could
you
she?
Oh, she probably, yeah, because it's all one
Yeah.
color.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I was thinking too.
Yeah, she take out some of the specular highlights, and she could enter that. That would be pretty.
Over on Facebook, referring back to Lewis's photo, Leslie says the stem of the wine glass plus some stem of the flower coming out of the wine glass might have helped, maybe. And then for this image, she says, very, very nicely done.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, this is really cute.
Yep.
It's like those leading lines where they say you should have an Easter egg at the end of it. Well, you get one here in the
There
middle.
you go. Oh, now there you go. I like that. I like that crop right there, Christine.
I just
do.
try to make sure you can see the whole image, but
Oh yeah, I really do like that. I like that crop.
I like how the glass is. I guess it's hand blown, hand casted, because the lady in the garden. I like the distortion on that.
Yeah.
Elaine says that she shot through a vase on the wide end, and she has an antique wall plaque of a woman at a bird bath, and that's what you're seeing through it.
That's what I thought it was.
Cool.
That's great.
Very, very nice. And this is also from Elaine, called Sweet Nectar. I like the monochrome of this also. Looks like a wine glass with ice in it, but it's a definitely interesting shot.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
Square shot, a square.
Don't take my thunder. Square, circle, squircle. Yeah, I would love to see us in a square.
You're the only one that does like that.
Oh man.
Any comments for Elaine?
I wonder if it would be better if you had the rim in focus as well as the ice cubes.
No, it's a different photo,
Yeah,
but I think it's really creative.
My suggestion is just leave it just like it is. Don't put a square crop on it. Just exactly the way she has it is great.
Well, and I like the cool tones with the ice.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the reflection of the color through the edges of the glass and through the design on the glass and the edges of the ice even just adds some depth to it.
Do we need a sprig of mint in there, or maybe a lime slice?
That would stop the monochrome, but that would be interesting as a contrasting color.
Or a maraschino cherry, bit of red.
Ooh.
I think the red would be better. So I think this is not quite centered straight down, and the rim is more out of focus in the bottom and the top, and it ought to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
That would help,
Doesn't
yeah.
it doesn't matter. It could all be soft. That'd be fine. It just ought to be the same.
It is a little unbalanced, down and to the right. But still, striking image to me.
Very nice. Okay.
So is this actually a monochrome?
I think it's just one. I think it's full color, but I think it could be a monochrome. There's just one hue in this.
Well, there's actually the lavender in the middle, and then it gets darker to another blue. So I guess
Yeah, it does go
Okay.
into a blue. So you have to see what happens if you made this a lavender monochrome, but it might work.
Yeah, I just think it would be if it was being judged, it would be the judge's call. I guess but it worked.
Yep.
Over on Facebook, Susan says, "I liked the curve edge ice cubes. What that complements the round glass."
Oh yeah, if they were square, it would kind of throw it off.
Yeah. The continuing roundness really helps. I think the curves of this photo seems to be the theme of it. Okay. This
Wow.
is from JC Refractions. Very well done.
Really interesting, actually.
It's very skillfully done to get it exactly in the middle, and the way the colors swap in the middle.
Yeah, well, of course, everybody know what refraction is. You know, anytime you fill a glass with water and pass something behind it, it reverses itself. So, I've been wanting to do this for a long, long time, but just never have taken the time to do it. But since we had a project to do it, so I decided to go do it. And I didn't want just to have just blue and the yellow paper behind it. I said, I want to jazz this up a little bit. So I put the blue piece of paper, the blue and yellow back there, the blue and the yellow back there first. And I put another piece of paper a little bit taller than that piece of paper to further get the top part up there. So there's two backgrounds there. One taller, the black striped background is a lot taller than the blue and yellow background. And I have it on that that piece of reflection. I have the reflector thing that I set it on there, and that's where I got the little the stem of it right there.
Is that black acrylic?
Would
that be black acrylic that you have it on?
Yeah, I have
Nice.
that black acrylic there, and naturally I put and I tried to position the glass. The further you bring it out, or the further you push it in, it changes. It would change the top, and it would change where your line is at the back there also. But getting it if I could have put it a little bit further closer to the background, my line back there would have been more to the bottom. But that was about the closest I could get it, because I'm not familiar with how Mike shoot the cross polarization, so I had to do mine the hard way. Use two speed lights on each side of it, and it took me all night to figure out how to get rid of the specular highlights on it. I had to turn one light off and shoot and see which side is lighting up, turn the other one off and shoot. Had to, position them, turn them, carry kind of wait until I finally got a good shot, and still had a couple of special specular highlights left, but I took them out in Photoshop. And I went in Photoshop and made sure my whites pop and made sure my blacks pop, and then put a vignette around it.
I see the vignette. Is there? I mean, I like it. I like that the vignette is very noticeable. You didn't try to just blend it in, and you made that hard edge. I think that really helps.
Yeah, I mean, I tried it several, and I tried to make it real hard. I tried to blend it all the way back. And I said, yeah, that's about middle way, about right there. Then I liked it right there. And I say, then tell you the truth, I got tired of playing with it. And I say, yep, it's gone.
Very creative.
I see this as in a high class 1950s bar on the wall.
And guess what? When I was putting my glass up, I broke my glass.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Oh, no.
Yes, and I wanted to keep that glass because you see at the bottom down there where you got that little circle in that glass there? At the bottom with that half moon circle in that glass there.
Mhm.
I wanted to keep that glass and I broke my glass. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Over on Facebook, Elaine says, I like this one very much with the lines being refracted in the water in the glass. Susan says, great photo, JC. Notice the blue and yellow show also at the top of the water level, which I didn't see at first.
Yeah, right at the top, I have a little bit of blue and yellow at the very top. That reflection went up there also.
And then Leslie says, wonderful refracted glass with water. Looks like it's smiling. Great lines. And Elaine says, is that a lighter spot on the right of the center of the vignetted curve?
Yeah, that right there, it doesn't show up on mine for some reason because what happened, it's showing up on this very vivid, but if I could show you mine, it doesn't show up on there. What happened is that my right speed light is a little bit brighter than my other speed light. My two speed lights are, I don't know, one of them is going bad. And then I noticed that, but I went back into Photoshop and toned that down. And when I bring it up, you know, I can see it real vivid here, but I can't see it on my picture at all. I don't know what happened here. I can see it real good here, but when I do it on mine, when I bring it up, because I met my wife, look, I can't see it. When I just looked at this right, I said, oh my, wow, what did I take that out? And I looked at mine and I said, oh no, it's not on mine. I mean, it's not visible on mine like that.
Still very nicely done, JC.
Well, thank you.
This is coming up for air from Fred.
That one was taking us the last minute over at Fort Meade. I just had my camera there, and this turtle just popped up, and I just bang, and that was it. He went back down. I said, that would work, and so I just goosed a little bit here and there.
Fred, that's another one I like.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it's so cute, though. You know, what I mean? Yeah. These little guys, you know, you go over there and you watch them. You got to be quick to get them though, because once they see you, they gone. Pew, they back under the water. You know. So that's cute, Fred.
Very cute.
Michelle should like that. She loves turtles.
Yep. Very nicely done. I like the reflections and the
Yeah.
translucent water.
Yeah, that's nice.
Maybe a little more diagonal in the turtle.
Yeah, you're probably right. You know, it was like, you know, I at one time I just did just the head, you know, just the front, cropped it in just the head, but then I realized, well, you couldn't see it was translucent, you know, so except his neck, but I just shut the whole thing, cropped it a little bit, and said heck with it.
Okay, nice.
Very nice. This is Icily by Doug.
Icily or icically?
We can ask him. Is he still here?
Nope, I think we lost Doug.
Over on Facebook.
Nope, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
And this was on a walk one day, and North Carolina doesn't get this cold very often.
Wow. How big are those?
A couple. I cropped, but the long one was about 18 plus inches.
Wow.
Looks almost like drips at the tip of the two that you can see.
Yeah, I took a lot of to get the drips. And this was a phone camera.
Wow.
Very nice. Over on Facebook, Fred, back to your turtles. Susan asks why the turtles' limbs look blue. Guess it's the green water and the blue sky reflecting down
Reflection
on
of the sky, yeah. Very cool.
Okay. Any comments for Doug on his icicles?
I think in the upper right-hand corner, the two little icicles up there could be cloned out. Those are a little bit distracting, but other than that, it's very nice.
Nicely done. This is from Bob.
We could have figured that one out. We could have probably guessed that.
I have
Translucent
no idea what
rocks.
that is.
It's a small beach pebble that is normally white. And somewhere in the sequence is the setup of how I got the colors. Basically, I put little colored LEDs behind it. And that's what you're seeing. There's a blue one to the left, a red one to the right, and somewhat anemic green one to the far right.
That's creative.
Very nice.
Looks about like it's going to divide soon.
Well, yes.
Little embryo.
Indiana Jones thinks it belongs in a museum, Bob.
Very nice. I love this.
And this is the actual setup. The stone itself is about just an inch top to bottom. And there's the blue one at the bottom and a yellow one, which is really weak and feeble, and you don't actually see it in the final image. But then you can see the red and the green one. And they're just glued on to hold it all together.
Very nice.
Just stuff you had laying on your workbench?
Of course. You saw my workbench earlier in the year, didn't you?
Are those LEDs?
Yes, exactly. They're LEDs.
Very nice.
Very creative.
This is another from Ed. Flower red reflected.
Mm,
I like
This is
that.
lovely.
it's pretty.
John, I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty attention getting.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really sharp and the color's nice.
It's so
Nice.
creative. It's so creative that it doesn't really seem to matter, but just be aware of trying to keep the same amount of space on the outside. It's a little bit far right.
Left there a little bit.
But beyond that, I mean, that was the last thing I noticed.
Yeah, I love the symmetry of this, and it just was really well done.
Very delicate colors, especially the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You cut off the shadow at the bottom. It might be better to have all the shadow showing.
It's not cut off. If
Not cut off. Oh, there it is.
A little bit. There you
I
go.
back off a little bit, but it's like just to the edge of the shadow. I love the colors of this, and that bowl is just beautiful.
Ed,
I wonder how he lit it up. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Ed, Bob will sell you a bunch of LEDs.
I was thinking of red gel.
Ooh. Very creative.
Yeah.
Now we're talking.
This is also from Ed. Limeade. Looks like it's the same background as the bowl, but he put
Green.
green.
I wonder if that is that Vaseline glass and a black light.
Maybe.
Oh, so it's fluorescent.
Yeah.
What'd you say it was again?
Don't they call it Vaseline glass? It's the green stuff that actually fluoresces because it's got a little bit of uranium in it, I think.
Oh, really?
They make those cups that glow too sometimes, so maybe.
I would have liked to see the lemon or the lime, more color in that, a little more contrast, a little more saturation.
It does overpower the lime, makes the lime look half rotten.
Yeah, yeah.
Vaseline glass is also called uranium glass, and you can see a lot of it in antique stores because it's a very kind of sickly muted green. But as soon as you put UVA to it, it fluoresces very, very nice.
Does it glow in the dark or what?
It doesn't glow in the dark, but it fluoresces under black light.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm gonna have to get out some of the old glass insulators that go way back to the telegraph lines
Mm-hmm.
that are green. I wonder if that's that glass.
I don't know. It's see-through. It says it was produced from the mid 1800s to the beginning of the World War II,
Mm.
and it eventually became banned because the government confiscated all supplies of uranium during World War II and halted all production of Vaseline glass in 1943.
I think I have one of those insulators.
I wouldn't imagine they would use that, but if it is, that's amazing.
I've got 15 million insulators. I could have shot some of them.
Hmm.
Just
I think I might have a piece of that glass. I'm going to have a look.
Over on Facebook, referring back to this one, Susan says, Ed's pink flower bowl. My eye brain wants the flower to be centered in the bowl, left to right. It is just slightly off, but it's not really that easy to see unless you really, really look closely at it.
Stop being so picky, Susan.
Somebody is obsessive compulsive, but they're right. Because that's all about the symmetry.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what that red stuff is in the back on the top. It's what looks like a cloth or something.
I think it's the same cloth that's beneath this one.
Oh, all right.
If you look, it looks very similar. So I wonder if he just kept the background and put the glass on it.
I think it's a little distracting to me, but that's just me.
Ed, if this is Vaseline glass, be sure to bring that to our next tabletop night.
Susan says over on
glass.
Susan says over on Facebook, should I become a judge? Okay. This is from Lewis. Picture.
Yeah, that's mine. That's a big, long story, actually. But my original thing in my head, I was thinking about putting flowers in the picture, and then it didn't quite work because the flowers looked like they were pretty dead. So I was just thinking around. So what that is water with the dish soap in it. And that was, again, done with a aluminum cube panel. But what I really like about it, actually, I worked really hard to get the foam sharp. But what I really like is the iridescence. I don't know if that's the right word, but of the rims of the picture of the picture and the reflection up. So it was, and down at the bottom, actually, it was too bright. So I just simply used in Photoshop. I just simply used a sponge brush to get a little bit of character in that area. So, and also when I was shooting it, I lowered the temperature of the light to give it a little bit more character, because actually it really was not that color. It was kind of white, but I lowered the temperature of the light that I was using, and to give it a little more character.
I agree with that top, Lewis. I think that's your rock star right there. Focus on that rim.
That top is, it's just like, I would say maybe like even a magazine. The rest of it is okay, but the top really turned out well.
I like the bubbles.
Yeah, I like the bubbles. And I bet you this one could be a monochrome too.
Yeah, that could be, well, let me see. I think that could be called monochrome because there's only one tone in there. So,
well, you got to go into Photoshop, click black and white, and then do the split toning and pick your color, and then it becomes real monochrome. Yeah, but now go down to your split toning and give it a color.
Yeah. But just quickly going in and showing.
well, that came out okay. I thought it was kind of cute. Kind of fit my mental image a little bit. Not quite though, but it turned out okay, I think.
Very nice, Lewis. Keep up on that one.
This is from Jackie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She channeled her inner Bob. That's interesting. What is that?
Looks like a crystal of some sort.
What's the name of it?
Looks like something growing inside it.
It's
sort of
rutilated
mineral.
quartz.
Rutilated quartz.
Very nicely lit.
Absolutely.
She submitted some pictures of gemstones before, but this is pretty cool looking. It must be lit from underneath.
Looks like that.
It does look like it. And whatever it's on, the texture of that is also very interesting.
Looks like a sock
Now,
on the end of
I
a
think it's
flashlight.
lit. I think it's lit from top behind, and it's just sitting on something that's so small that it only catches the light around the gemstone, and then the rest of it's set against the background.
It looks like a piece of cotton stretched over a flashlight, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Is that the source of light from the bottom?
I would think so. And it looks
Well,
like she has something overhead, too.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
I think the bottom is a little bright, though. I think if it had been toned down a little bit, be a little more effective.
Mhm.
My eye goes down to the bright part at the bottom.
Right.
I
That's
kind
I
of,
wonder how small this is.
yeah. I kind of like it. I like the texture of what it's sitting on reflected on the bottom of the crystal, and even up through it. You can even see it through the middle of it. But then you have the texture of the gemstone itself.
I think if you try to use a polarizer on that, that might even be more impressive, actually.
Hmm.
I don't know if it would work, but still, it might be something to try.
Do you think maybe she had a reflector on top of it?
There's some light on top.
There's
Yeah,
something catching the top from behind.
You know, have a reflector right on top of it and then off to one side and just, I don't know. Because you got a whole bunch of sides to that gem, you know, so the light's going to go everywhere.
Mm.
Still very, very nicely done.
Beautiful.
It sure is. I mean, if everybody's got to guess how she did the lighting, it's got to be good.
This is also from Jackie. Marbles in blue dish.
Ooh.
I like this. I like the contrast of the red and blue.
Nice and balanced. I like it.
And then
Okay.
the marbles reflect everything around them. Very nicely done.
Yeah, I like this one a lot too. I like the reflection through the marbles from the tablecloth, and also the contrast of the blue and then the light white, white pale blue, whatever you call it. I think the contrast is very good, and I like the reflection of the tablecloth through the marbles also.
Particularly the one top right.
Ooh, very nice.
And the curve of the bowl just sets this off and pulls you through the image and keeps you going.
Yep.
Very nicely done.
That's amazing, Jackie.
Anyone else has something to say?
Yes, is Jackie online? She can explain it to us.
I haven't seen her. Jackie, you need if you're listening to this, you need to post these photos or comment on the voting thing and tell us exactly how you shot this. And the one before.
Yeah. I can tell you that it is. Oh, I don't have the data, so. But very nicely done. Okay. Next is. This is also Jackie. One roll or two.
Oh, that's the
Nice play on words.
looks like a lens ball with toilet paper reflection.
Yeah.
Over on Facebook, I think this is about the last one. It says the marbles reflect not only the color but the beaded look texture of the tablecloth.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like this one. The play on all whites and the different colors of whites really help. This is kind of like that bathroom assignment where you go into.
And it's tough. It's tough doing white and white on white on white. This is nicely done.
Any comments for Jackie?
Somebody's making a little bit of noise. I'm going to go ahead and mute people. There we go.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Sun-Kissed by Julie. I like the translucent of the skin of the orange piece. Shallow depth of field is nice too.
I love this, but the veins on the orange are just beyond the point of focus.
Yeah, focus could be just a little.
The lightness in the upper part of the image is distracting.
Hey guys, I gotta drop off. I gotta make a phone call to Chicago right quick. If I get finished before y'all finish, I'll come back on. Okay.
Okay, JC. Thanks for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the idea of this photo. I think it's very creative, very different than all the other photos we've seen. But you're right, the out of focus part bothers me a little.
Who was this
Yeah, I
again,
used
Christine?
my macro lens on this, and I just happened to be eating this mandarin orange, and I was like, wow, the sun is so bright coming through the sunroom, and I sat that on the arm of the chair, and I took a couple of shots, and I like this one the most because of the heart-shaped shadow as well, but I agree, it's not real sharp.
Try it again if you can get another piece like that, and make sure to keep the whole
Yeah.
shadow in there, because that's a striking image right there.
Yeah, I liked it. I took about a half a dozen shots, and this was the first one. You know, that's how they always turn out. The first one, right, is the best. My husband was like, "What are you doing?"
He doesn't know by now.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Bob's.
No,
Julie's.
Julie,
Wow.
Them bones.
not guilty.
Okay, Julie, you got to fess up. What is this?
This is actually a petrified frog, and I could walk over there to the other side of my office and get it for you if
That's
you'd like
okay.
to see it.
No, that's
But
okay.
the house that we purchased here in North Carolina, we had some film put on the windows, and out in the garage, we took the shades down and got everything ready so they could put the film on the garage window. And this guy happened to be petrified in the windowsill. So I said, what a neat subject to hang on to. So this was the actual shot that I was trying to finish for the macro contest the Monday before we had the tornado.
Ooh.
So I said, oh, well, this will work for translucent. So
It does. Very nice.
And I love the way
Yeah.
you have him diagonal. And then the cross diagonal on the other side kind of makes an X.
Yeah, I was really trying to get a shot from his face back, and that's what I was struggling with. And then, as you can see, all the dots that are on there because of the different pieces of plexiglass and the different pieces of glass, it was a real struggle. I must have taken, I don't know, a couple hundred shots of this guy. And again, this was with my macro lens, but it's only maybe, I don't know, 3.5 inches long.
That's unique. Wow.
Very nice. I loved the bones showing through.
Yeah.
This is Orange Float, also by Julie. I love this. I like the orange in the background and the bubbles fizzing around it.
Now the orange is out of focus again for me, but the bubbles make up for it.
That's
I'd rather see the crisp bubbles.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had somewhere the orange was more in focus, but then I didn't have as many bubbles, and it was this. I struggled with what was the better photo, and then I even asked Christine to replace this because I cropped it in some to take some highlights that were on the left-hand side out. But
Did you try
but
flipping
yeah,
this, Julie?
I had fun shooting this one as well.
Did you try flipping this one, Julie, with the orange on the bottom?
No, I didn't try that. That might have been a cool picture.
If you did this on a tripod, so all of the images are close to identical, you could probably do an overlay and have with an in focus orange.
Like focus stacking.
Yeah, I don't know that I have anything that I could do focus stacking with. But this was the actual orange. It was not like the mandarin orange where it was, this is a bigger navel orange that I used on it.
You still
And
have
then that's seltzer water.
Well, you still have the translucent orange because the light is still coming through it, and then the water. the fizzes and stuff. So very nicely done.
Yeah,
Christine,
thank you.
can you flip it around so we can see it the other way?
Not sure I know how to do that in.
You
Good.
go up.
If you
Develop.
go to photo, you can do, that's where you can flip it. If you go to photo over on the left-hand side next to develop,
Yeah, that'd be the easiest. Go to photo up top left.
Oh,
I think if you just right click on that, you get a
yeah, there you can do the rotate.
Vertical.
flip vertical.
There you go.
there you go. Oops, didn't flip it.
Yeah, I think that's more interesting, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the
Yeah,
bubbles are
that's-
rising from the orange.
You're right. That was a good idea. Thank you, John.
And then you
Bubbles
can
going up where they normally would.
name it Sunrise.
Yeah.
I like it the original way. It's
I
more
like it.
unusual.
Yeah, I actually had the slice of orange. I had to use a clothespin to hold it to the edge of the container, and the container was rectangle, so that I wouldn't have that curvature of the glass.
Cool.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so that's why you can't see the top of the orange, because the clothespin is there, because I had to clothespin it pretty far down to keep it from trying to rise up with the bubbles.
Okay.
I think I prefer the original way though. When I think about it, it's more interesting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I
it
like
makes you
this
look
one
at it a
better.
little bit more and study it.
They both have potential, though.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is Translucent Stone White by Bob.
Yeah, the title pretty much says it all. I just lit it with a bright light from behind, then blackened out the perimeter.
Very nice. I love
These
the
stones
textures.
look very ordinary without the light behind them.
It's interesting the way that the bright parts is in better focus than the other parts. I don't know if that's really
Yeah,
true, but that's the way it looks to me on my screen.
I think you're right. I don't think I have enough depth of field. The stone is about quarter of an inch thick, so there is probably a depth of field issue. I could reshoot it. Well, but I think part of it is the stone itself is somewhat sort of fuzzy. It's not clear.
Oh, well, maybe it's just the way the stone looks then,
Yeah.
That's unique.
Because the stuff on the left is closer to the surface and
Right.
not diffused by material above it.
Wow.
Still very pretty.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay. And last but not least, I added this one in for John and I to talk about. This was a water drop that we worked on this past week.
This is kind of mine.
Yes.
But I didn't get a chance to really shoot mine because I was helping Christine make these water drops. When we did the tabletop last year, the year before,
Yeah.
I brought in one of those water drop rigs, and that was one that I had made a long time ago. And since then, we've purchased the Myops, and they make a Pluto trigger, they make a Myops, and they make another one. And I've got to tell you, the precision on these, we had the first collision, probably 10 minutes after setting everything up.
Mm-hmm.
This is just my view on this. Just my comments. I think the little drop on the right is a little bit distracting to me. And actually, it'd be nice if you could sharpen up the lines of the ribs on the left side. Other than that, it's just that really popped when I saw it.
She did eventually take it to F20, and I thought the same thing, Lewis. But she liked that little
yeah.
drop. We eventually took it to F22 once we learned better how to use the application.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of cool, really.
But that was one of the better ones.
For me, this is evocative of a dancer, and I like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like like a ballet skirt and a elongated figure.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, like a dancer. That's interesting.
I saw it as a woman with like a 1920s shawl on, like wrapped around the front and then behind her, and then her long legs in a long skinny skirt.
I was hoping we still had
Same.
JC in here because I know JC's been playing with the water drops as well.
In the upper left looks like maybe it could be her hand.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, the reflection in the droplet at the very top, it almost makes it look like a face.
Hmm.
It's very well done. I just have one question. Is it okay to use Photoshop and use Liquify in there? You can make it look like a girl.
Mm.
Just push on the corners.
Yeah.
In life, was it actually the other way around?
Nope.
Mm-mm.
So the drop is moving upwards?
What this does, Bob, is it drops a drop, and then as the drop goes down, it creates a crown, and then it plunges down, and then it sends a drop back up with a long kind of tail. And then
Huh.
what this drop rig does, it'll send up to 4 drops, one after the other, and you can time them in milliseconds. We were doing this, and I was hitting the milliseconds 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, and the drop was slowly coming down until we had a collision. And it's just amazing because the old one I had used, you have a little potentiometer which is kind of finicky to set your
Right.
delay, but it's called a Myops Splash, and it's actually like a little pneumatic dropper. It's very precise.
So there's a valve that controls the flow to produce drops?
Right. And she had a glass of water at the bottom, and then it's got a reservoir up top, and we colored that reservoir blue, and it
Right.
sent one drop down, and we timed it so that the drop up top hit the next one. And I think the head up top on this is actually it was starting to get low, and I think it sent 2 drops instead of 1 because the first one collided and sends out that pancake, and then the next one
Huh.
up top. So it was actually an error sending
Huh.
2 instead of 1. And then you can vary the drop size. It's amazing. It's unreal.
And does it also trigger the camera?
It does. What it triggers it will turn on the camera. I've got it set for bulb mode, and it will turn the bulb mode. It'll hit the shutter as long as it needs,
Right.
and then it fires the flash really quick.
Oh, so it does both.
Mm-hmm.
You
It would be really cool if you just could put that in real glass, as a statue.
Oh
or
yeah.
as a piece of art, actually.
Hmm.
So the flash is actually stopping the motion then.
Yes.
Right. Because flashes typically are like 10, 20, 30 thousandths of a second. You can't do that with a normal
Right.
camera.
We had 2 flashes on this, one on the left and one on the right, meeting in the center, and then one of them had a peanut on it, and then the other one was connected to the trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to the days where I worked on cars and you had a timing light, and that's the way a timing light worked.
Right.
Hmm.
So, Elaine says, I absolutely love the water drop fountains. They look like dancing ladies. Okay, so this was our last image. And
Hey, Chris, I've got one more image I could share. I didn't submit it because I didn't take it. I took it right before you announced this contest or this theme. If we have time.
Absolutely.
we can go over it. Let me tell the winner from the Facebook since I'm
Oh,
up.
yeah,
That way
yeah.
we don't have to change again. And of course, the winner is Leslie with her bubble.
Well deserved, Leslie. Congratulations.
Great
I
show.
knew it. I knew it as soon as I saw it.
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
I'm taking away my likes on the entire gallery, and I'm like, I can't unlike this. I know it's going to win, but I can't unlike it.
And so let Mike come in. And
All right, let's see if I can do this without screwing up. So
Wow.
I'm helping clean out my father-in-law's house, and he had 3 of these Avon bottles that are probably as old as I am. This one still has the cologne in it right up to the window.
Oh yeah.
And I cleaned up the bottle, which was totally black with dirt and grime and dust for over the years. And I just cleaned it up and set it on a piece of plexi and lit it from behind. And the bottle was just striking. This definitely would have been one I sent in tonight if I hadn't have done it before we announced the theme.
The cologne
yeah.
level, I just love the two-tone there with the cologne darkening it just a little bit.
Yeah.
It kind
He
of
had
makes
three of these. One's a horse head and one's a Volkswagen.
Oh, very
and then
nice.
this one.
Wow.
Did you do the Volkswagen?
I did.
Let me see it. Let's see it.
Well, it's totally black. It was black glass, so it's not translucent.
Oh,
So I've been playing with getting the light to define the edges in it. So it's not quite where I want it yet.
What about the horse?
Let's see. I do have the horse.
Put the horse up one time.
Let's see here. So here's what I did with the horse in the end. That's actually three pictures I put together.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
yeah.
awesome.
This one was empty, but it was this beautiful green glass once you cleaned it.
Gorgeous.
The ring in his mouth helps define it.
Yep.
Very nice, Mike. Thanks for sharing those.
Looks real nice. Looks real nice.
All right.
Avon also had a Jaguar, and it was done in green glass that my husband had for years, but I have no idea what happened to that thing. But they had a whole series of cars.
Yeah.
Well, that's tonight's program. Join us next week when we stream with Connie and Baden right here on Facebook at 7 p.m. And with that, I want to thank everyone for joining us on both Facebook and on the live stream. Your entries and commentary make such great opportunities and help us all improve as photographers. And be sure to do your March photo assignment, which is daily tasks. If anyone has questions, feel free to email or ask me.
What did you
I'd
say?
like to ask you one.
Did you
Go
say
ahead.
what?
Go ahead.
Daily tasks.
Daily tasks, your everyday routines.
Oh, daily tasks. All right.
That could cover all sorts of things.
Going out to Bourbon Lake, is that a task? Because I do it a lot.
You retirees.
Yeah, that's what happens. You know, I wake up and go for a walk and eat some breakfast and go to Fort Meade and go here, go there. But my main question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I got my cat card back, so we need to go together.
Okay. Maybe we can get the whole camera club out there. I mean, you know, it's kind of dead right now, but you know, probably in the springtime it might be a little bit more.
Okay. Well, we can talk about this off stream, and we will see everyone again next week. Have a good night.
Goodbye.
Bye.